Anyway, let's move on to the cost of Concordia. Let's move on to the cost of Concordia, bro. Oh, man. I don't know what's gonna happen in this video. I don't know what Concordia is. I don't know. Great transition. Thank you! One disaster to another. Is this video sad? I don't know anything about Concordia at all. I don't know what this is. I've just been told to watch it. And I hope this won't make me cry. A boat? Oh, I love boats so much. I love boats.
The Costa Concordia.
Uh-huh.
Ship of dreams. It's been 8 years.
Uh-huh.
I can still smell the buffets from their 5 restaurants.
There's 5 restaurants on one boat, bro.
The casino and 3-story theater had hardly been used.
Yo, imagine seeing BTS in that theater.
Ah, the gym, the day spa, the sheets in 1,500 luxurious cabins.
I have never been on a cruise. You want to know why? I get severely motion sick, and I don't think I can take Dramamine every single day of a cruise. I also hate the idea of being on a big fucking boat in the middle of an ocean. That sounds terrifying, horrifying, and not something I want to do. I will keep my ass on ground. I've never been on a cruise, and I don't think I ever will be. I think I'll go on a cruise if, like, the right people ask me very, very sweetly, and it has to be, like, a short one.
Hadn't even been slept in. Costa Concordia cost $570 million to build. And you could tell. You could really tell.
That boat's fucking huge. They got a pool on. That looks like a small pool for the size of the boat. I feel like you can make that pool
I
bigger.
remember it like it was just a few years ago. We had left Civitavecchia, a port in Rome, and we were making our way to Savona. It was day 2 of our 7-day journey. But that ship, she was cursed.
Oh my god.
When she premiered, the traditional bottle of champagne bounced right off the side instead of smashing.
A bad omen. But I'm not the superstitious type. Nothing could go wrong on
Scrap
Friday
it.
the 13th of
No!
January 2012.
No!
On the 100th year anniversary of the Titanic.
No!
On a ship that's also only safety rated for 2-compartment flooding.
Oh my god.
Especially not
Oh
when
my
you
god.
have a 5-star max level captain.
Hell
like
yeah.
Francisco Scatino. A man who mysteriously rose
Not the Final
from head of
Fantasy victory
security
music.
to the position of captain within just a couple of years.
Questionable.
He knows exactly what to do in case of an emergency.
For example, when he caused this emergency in 2008, when he crashed into a port in Sicily. And in 2010, in Warnemünde, Germany, when he was steering a different ship and came into port too fast and caused another collision. I've got a good feeling about this.
There's
So
no
let's
fucking
set
way,
the
bro.
scene. It's a beautiful evening. People are having fun on the slides, drinks at the bar. Antonio Magnotta is playing piano at the restaurant.
Hell yeah.
Martin the Magician is setting up for his show.
Hell yeah.
And the
I
ship
love magic.
is setting up for a little detour. It's called a sail-by salute. Basically, you get real close to the shore and honk the horn.
Yeah.
The locals hate it, but the customers love it, and it's a tradition. Scatino, the captain, comes into the dining hall with the lady.
Why aren't you at the
Dominica
boat?
Samorton. Remember this face, because you'll be seeing a lot of it later.
Okay.
Scatino eats his dinner with her, and socializes for a little while. Then,
I don't want my boat
Dominica
captain
and
drinking.
the maitre d' finish up and excuse themselves. They're heading to the bridge. It's time for that sail-by salute. This time, they're going to get closer than ever. Just 1,500 feet from the island of Giglio. And how are they going to determine this distance? Well, of course, the captain is going to eyeball it. Apparently, it's not an uncommon thing to do. Scatino turns to the fella steering. His
No
helmsman,
fucking way.
Jacob Ruslibin.
Hell yeah.
First interesting tidbit. Costa Crociere has hired Jacob from Indonesia at a rock-bottom price, and he's a bit of a newbie to the job. In fact, his profession hitherto, a painter and a cleaner.
Hell
It's
yeah.
his first time steering a massive ship, and he's very excited. At least, we think he is. It's hard to tell because he doesn't speak English or Italian very well at all.
No fucking way.
Off to a good start. The second in command orders the helmsman to 290. Now, don't be confused by these numbers, they're just the degrees on a compass. At the same time, the captain whips out his cell phone and calls former captain Mario Palombo, who lives on the island. They chat about the safe distance to Giglio's shores. It's all very casual. Anyway, Mario says that the safe distance is between 0.3 and 0.4 miles from shore. The captain is going all in. This is not his first sail-by salute, so he's confident in what he's doing.
There's no
We're
fucking
going
way.
closer than we've ever been before. The captain's eyeballing it again. New heading of 300, he tells the helmsman. Downstairs, Martin is about to cut his assistant in half. And of course, that means that there's already a lady inside this box. She's waiting for the cue, and then she'll poke her legs out. The captain is giving more orders. Pulling gently to 310. Increase speed to 16 knots. Going this fast is going to be a fatal error. But before we talk about that, let's talk about another big problem. Language barrier. Because at this point, the captain says 325, but the helmsman relays 315. So the first officer intervenes, and he goes, no, 335, which is
What?
also wrong. And then the captain clarifies, no, 325. The helmsman confirms 325. Their poor communication has them moving at a much wider angle than they think they are.
No.
However, the captain should and would know this, except for the next problem, complacency about procedure. The standard procedure of a ship this large is for the third officer to give exact positional coordinates every time the captain gives a new directional order. But they're not doing that. 330, he says. The helmsman relays 330. The ship reaches 16 knots. The captain
Why
then
are we
turns to
going
the
so
second
fast?
officer and instructs him to go to the left wing. That's these things here, and they basically exist so you can get a better view over the whole vessel. A few seconds pass, and then the mood starts to turn. Scatino notices white foam of waves breaking against the rocks directly in front of him in the distance. The Costa Concordia, right now, is almost 700 meters closer to the rocks than it should be. Without deviation, there is going to be a direct
Rocks were
collision.
underwater. Oh, yikes.
Oh, shit!
Scatino immediately commands the ship to start turning away. 335. Not enough. The captain shouts, 340. The captain yells, 350. Now, remember how I said that accelerating to 16 knots was a fatal error? Well, that's because it's made this ship incapable of such a drastic turn. What they've got is understeer. Here's an example.
The front end is not working. You're turning, and you're just going straight. You want to go over here, but you're going to end up over here.
So despite the order of 350, right now the bow is still only pointing at 327. Not nearly enough to miss the rock. And oh no, it's about to get worse.
No!
That language barrier again. In these critical moments where every second counts, the helmsman wrongly relays 340. The captain snaps back, 350 starboard or we end up on the rocks. The third officer goes to assist the helmsman. Now, don't get confused by the orders from here. We're changing over to rudder instructions.
Okay.
The captain yells, starboard 10, starboard 20, and still it's not enough. Hard to starboard. That means as hard as it'll go. But at this point, even if they clear these rocks, they need to get the rest of the ship to swing around it. So the captain yells, midship, which centers the rudder. The bow is now less than 150 meters from Skull
They're
Rock.
so fucked.
Port 10. But the helmsman only gets to port 5 before another order is given 2 seconds later. Port 20. They might just avoid disaster here, maybe. But then, oh no. One more time, the helmsman cocks up at the worst possible moment. The helmsman goes to starboard instead of port, undoing the swing. 8 seconds later, he realizes the error and corrects, but it's too late. He has just turned a probable near miss into a sure hit. All they can do now is hold on as the bow of the ship narrowly passes by the rocks. Hard to port! The second officer yells, "We're gonna hit!" Collision.
Fuck. At least they're really close to shore. No, my spaghetti! No, my spaghetti! Not my spaghetti! My daddy said I had to finish those. If I don't want to smoke another pack of cigarettes. My spaghetti.
Downtown.
Oh, it's advertisement.
Town.
NordVPN.
Day 56 of playing Russian roulette.
Oh,
Seems I never win.
that's not a
Gonna
revolver.
drink all by yourself?
Somebody has to.
I hear you're a man who's good at finding folks.
I'm many things.
I want a
I'm
Papa
looking
John's
for this
pizza.
fella. I got to find
Oh.
him. It's breaking my little heart.
I'll see
Real.
what I can do. I have contacts in thousands of servers and
That's
dozens
what
of
I
countries
do
across the
also.
globe.
I do
And
that
just like
too.
that, she was gone. The only thing she left was a calling card. Sometimes when you follow a case,
I want
it
a
follows
fucking
you back.
pack of Newport menthols, bro.
NordVPN can protect my
I dreamt
online
it.
data.
I've never smoked a
You can
day in
protect
my
me
life.
From
Stop
myself.
smoking in front of me,
When
bro.
they said this job
Give
gets
me that
easier,
cigarette!
it was just another lie. Forensics found his password spread all the way down the block.
Oh shit.
In a perfect world, we'd all use NordVPN. But I guess this isn't that kind of story. I took the
No.
brakes off my car.
The passwords
Man like
everywhere.
me never really learned how to stop.
Fuck up. I took the steering wheel out too. I let the road take me where I'm supposed to be.
What the hell?
That's right, Toots. Your husband's dead.
No.
Merry Christmas.
No. The globe.
Go to nordvpn.com/internet story for a huge discount on a 2-year plan. Ad over.
Thank you.
The ship hits rocks on the port side.
Oh my god.
A 53-meter gash opens up in the hull.
Oh,
and
God.
Thousands of tons of water begin
That's
pouring in.
big.
A loud scraping and bang is heard by all passengers. At the helm is panic. Rumblings in the dining room. Martin awkwardly pauses his act as he's helping his assistant into the box. Meanwhile, the lady inside
Let me
is
out, let
trapped
me
and
out.
terrified. There's confusion across the ship. All of the crew off shift come back on duty. All officers run to the bridge. Technical crews run down to the lower decks to assess damage. On connection with the rocks, they lose propulsion and slow
In-ship
to
pool just
8.3
built.
knots, and they are now adrift. Close the watertight doors at stern. Enormous volumes of water are pouring in. So much so that within 29 seconds of collision, all 6 engines stop working through flooding. 22 seconds later, a blackout happens. Lights, electrics, water pumps, too.
Oh
Everything.
my
The
god.
captain orders the helmsman hard starboard.
Imagine you were taking a
This is
shower
the
at that
final
moment.
Position of the rudder.
got
The
shampoo
power
in your
for
hair.
That too
That'd be
is
me.
Lost. The Costa Concordia, now without power, is drifting starboard, plunged into absolute darkness.
Holy shit. This would be my fucking nightmare, bro.
A quick breakdown of the flooding. When the Concordia struck land, it tore open 3 watertight compartments. At first, compartment 5, which filled very rapidly. Then 6 more slowly, 4 shortly after. Then
6, 7.
7, 8, and 3. Modern ships are built to withstand.
I'd be on the
2
deck already with my
compartment
life
breaches.
jacket on.
These compartments, especially though, are a problem because they contain the engines and the electrics. These main generators give power to the whole ship.
Damn.
From propulsion motors to rudder to hotel functions, pretty much everything. When they went out, the ship was a functionless, sinking cage.
Shit.
A few seconds later, the emergency batteries for internal lighting and communications kick on. When the lights come back on, Martin has vanished. He's ditched the stage. And it caused a huge panic in the theatre, as passengers are trying to flee to their cabins and to muster stations. People already in their cabins come out and start putting on life vests. Staff rally and try to calm everyone down. Everything is fine. There's no need for vests. Please return to your cabins. The emergency generator starts. All of the watertight doors close except for door 12, which is jammed.
No.
The captain calls Pilon, the chief engineer, as the ship begins to list on the port side. There's water coming in? Yes, there's water. But where? The engine room. But a lot of water? Yes!
Yes!
There's water, you can't go down. Let's go down the other side. In a moment we'll start the pumps, I'll let you know. In the theater, the whole
Have they called
box
for help?
apparatus slides right off the stage and falls into the crowd, further increasing panic. On the bridge, an announcement is being prepared.
I'm already in the
They are
lifeboat
going
wearing
to
a
march
wig, talking in a
to
high-pitched
prevent a
voice.
panic. Let's just say we have a blackout. The deputy chief engineer enters the engine control room. He confirms to the bridge that at least compartments 5, 6, and 7 are flooded. Announcements are made.
We want the captain to inform you that due to an electrical fault, which is currently under control, we're currently in a blackout. Our technicians are working to resolve the situation and will inform you of developments as they occur. Thank you for your attention.
Why is it that every major boat sink that I've seen, they're always like, they don't tell the fucking truth? Holy fucking shit. Have you guys heard of the fucking South Korean ferry incident, bro? Nothing is wrong. Go back to your cabin. Absolutely not. I hear any fucking issue with my boat, I'm on the fucking deck in my life vest. Fuck you. I don't give a shit. I am not listening to your fucking shit-ass announcements.
Coincidentally, at the same time,
It's to not have an uncontrollable panic. If people die because they were in their fucking rooms instead of on the deck, I don't give a fuck. Panic stampede kills a lot of people, but you could say there's an electrical fault and people are under control. However, just in case, we have help on the way. Go wait on the deck in your life vest. Boom! We could just say that. We could just fucking say that, bro. It's very hard to fix problems when 5,500 people are screaming and running around cluelessly. You'll see how worse it gets. Is this just another fucking Sewell River Ferry fucking incident, dog? Is this just the same fucking incident, but with a fucking cruise ship? I'm gonna be so fucking mad.
time in the restaurant, they're playing My Heart Will Go On.
There's no
and
fucking
it's
way.
very much not helping the situation. The captain calls the Costa crisis unit. Roberto Ferrarini. He tells the crisis unit that they've hit a rock, that they're assessing damages, and that they are also in a blackout. The crisis office says to reverse the ship up onto shore. Well, how are you going to do that? You don't have power to the rudder, let alone the engine. You know, hoist the sails? Anyway, around this time,
sails?
the wind direction creates a starboard list, and the ship begins to turn anyway, drifting right back towards the shore, which is a very good thing because you want the ship to end up as close to shore as possible. A panicked passenger senses that something is off. This isn't like any electrical problem that she's ever seen. Plus, there was a massive crashing noise and now the ship is tilting. So, she contacts her daughter in Italy. The daughter then calls the police, and the police call the harbour master. While that goes on, a conversation
Okay.
between Pilon and Ambrosio. The diesel is
I'm
not
glad we're making
starting.
progress.
The captain asks the engine room, but where have we made contact? Thinking that the incoming water can be reduced. Captain, here everything is lost. The electrical panel, everything. They're saying at this point that the ship is going down. The captain
Ship's
calls
fucked.
Roberto Ferrarini again. Actually, 2 compartments have been flooded, but don't worry, the ship's stability isn't in danger. Wrong. Passengers begin going to muster
Oh my God.
stations on their own initiative. The cruise director says, "We have a lot of people at muster stations that I do not want to fall overboard. Do we make an announcement to tell them to go to the lounges?" Bozio says, "I think that's best." The harbour master from Livorno calls the ship. The captain tells them that we just have a blackout. How long has this blackout been going on? About 20 minutes. Have you asked passengers to put on life vests? It's just a blackout. I gotta go. The harbour master is suspicious. He says to his superiors that he thinks something more is going on. He calls a patrol boat
W
to
Harbour
react
Master!
at the ship. Another problem. The fan on the emergency diesel generator isn't working properly. Pilon manually has to turn the thing on and off with a screwdriver so that it doesn't overheat and cause a fire. The captain is on the phone to the lower decks, asking pointless questions, like, is it still flooded? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is. The captain is essentially in denial of the situation. The harbour master calls again. Finally, he says, the ship is taking on water through an opening on the left side and the ship is listing. He qualifies with, no one dead or injured. The harbour master asks if he needs help. Just a tugboat? When in reality, they need a full rescue. With 3 compartments flooded, the captain finally realizes that things are really bad, and they are not going to improve. The Coast Guard orders every available ship to the
Why was he lying? I don't know why fucking boat captains lie in this fucking situation, bro. boat captains fucking lie in this situation. They're like, oh, nothing bad's happening. Oh, he's probably gonna be the first one off the fucking boat. He's gonna be the first fucking one off this fucking boat. And he's gonna be like, man, that's crazy that happened, right? Jail time for you, bro. If anyone dies, I want you held accountable.
Meanwhile, up with the passengers, the cruise director's assistant says, everything's under control. Please return to your cabins or hang about in the lounges, no problem. She said this despite knowing it was wrong and that it further endangered lives. Most passengers at this point, though, aren't listening to this nonsense, and they're busy figuring out how to abandon ship. Bang, 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 bang. Local television has already picked up the story and they begin broadcasting live radio feed from the bridge. Captain, the passengers are going on board the boats. Okay, let them go to shore. So then general emergency? Wait, let me talk to Ferrarini. We risk the emergency generators that do not have cooling. It has cooling problems, 100 degrees. The cooling fan has stopped. Pilon calls the bridge and tells the safety officer they need to evacuate. The safety officer relays this to the captain.
The boat's gonna be on fucking fire, bro!
To evacuate. The captain says, no, stay. We're leaving. So what do? General emergency? The captain tells Ferrarini that he's abandoning ship. Abandon ship! Another announcement is made.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. The situation is under control. Please remain calm. But at this time, proceed to your muster station. They're located outside on deck 4.
The Livorno Coast Guard calls again. The captain declares distress. The Coast Guard officially calls for rescue operations. They contact Pietro Mille, the helicopter base commander, who then calls in every available pilot as he rushes down to the helicopter base. Pilon shuts down the emergency generator for the final time. The first rescue vessel arrives. By this point, the lifeboats are already going. Luckily, the ship is very close to shore. Oh, perhaps too close to shore. The ship forcefully runs aground, creating an uneven center of gravity, and it begins heavily listing starboard. The captain issues a general emergency on board. The announcement to abandon ship is finally called and alarms ring out. And with
at least they finally get told.
Comes panic. And now that they're listing, with many of the lifeboats too awkwardly positioned to enter the water, there aren't enough readily available and they have to start going back and forth to the shore, picking people up and dropping them off. The patrol boats report to the Livorno Harbour Master that the ship has run aground and is listing heavily. So the harbour master asks the captain about it, and the captain says, no, the ship is still floating. In fact, we're trying to maneuver it onto the shore. They know he's lying. Hold on, I'm reversing it. Beep, 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 beep. The captain then says to bottom out the starboard anchor.
Shout out to the harbour master,
drop
bro.
out the anchors, but let out too much chain, effectively rendering them useless. The deputy mayor of Giglio, Mario Pellegrini, and tobacco shop owner Giovanni Rossi
shout out to his car.
Oh, they watch the scene unfold. As the first of the lifeboats arrive on shore, the deputy mayor takes the initiative and races to board one of the lifeboats, returning to the ship, and starts trying to find someone in charge. He gives up and starts helping passengers. Scatino tells everyone to leave and take radios, but not before changing out of his uniform and into a nice suit. Priorities. Dimitri Christidis and Silvia Coronica leave with him. The maitre d' and some more.
You're telling me the fucking mayor of a nearby town gets on the fucking boat to try to look for who's in charge, and the fucking captain just changed fucking clothes so he wouldn't be fucking caught, so he could avoid accountability for another hour, bro? This fucking slimy ass motherfucker. By the way, I told you this motherfucker would be one of the first people off.
Can both get out of there.
My God.
By this point, approximately 300 people are still on the ship. Mille reaches the helicopter base. The first helicopter, a slow-moving Augusta Bell, was already rising from the tarmac for the hour-long flight south.
Hour long?
Ozio
Oh,
is
yikes.
the last crew member left on the bridge, coordinating evacuation.
Aww.
He then leaves to help passengers board lifeboats. The bridge
Shout
is
out to
now
this guy.
abandoned. And then, the ship's black box stops working. Apparently there were technical problems with it.
Oh,
that
cool.
means, from here, things are going to get a little foggy in detail. A while later, rescue helicopters arrive, but they're struggling to find the ship because they're expecting it to still be well above water. Passengers are scaling down the port side by ladder
Oh
as
my
lifeboats return to
God.
pick them up.
This is no joke. Oh my goodness.
This is horrifying.
Joking, am I? Yes.
You're not allowed to make a film
I'm
movie.
allowed.
Who say you are?
Fuck
The
you,
second
bitch.
helicopter, a faster model, sets off. The ship stops healing and comes to a final resting place. Now the
Okay.
Coast Guard
It's not gonna get
calls the
worse,
captain
question mark?
because he's just learned that the captain has abandoned ship. The captain claims, no, actually I slipped and I fell into one of the lifeboats.
That's crazy.
But now that I'm on board, I may as well head back to shore. DeFalco tells the captain to get the fuck back on board. And the captain kind of acts confused and then effectively refuses. So the captain makes it to shore.
Fuck you.
From here, we only have mainstream news reports to rely on, so it's not going to be super accurate. But they say that Giglio's police chief then finds 110 survivors on the rocks at Point Gabbianara. And among them is the captain. It's not known whether the captain helped anyone while he was there, and in fact, the police chief claimed that he just sat on the rocks and watched other people do the rescuing.
Arrest his ass.
A while later, a rescue boat picks
Hi,
up the
Micah Shark.
captain
Hello.
and
Hi,
takes
hi,
him to
hello,
the
hi.
harbor. He speaks to the police. He then finds the ship's onboard chaplain, Father Rafael Molina, and cries to him for about 15 minutes. Then he goes to the harbor master's office to receive probably the biggest dressing down of his entire life. Port authorities
I hope they
ask the
spanked
taxi
him.
driver to take the captain back to his hotel. The captain takes the 30-second cab ride to the Bahamas hotel. According to the cabbie, he was beaten like a dog. He was cold and afraid. He only asked me where he could buy a pair of fresh socks.
Oh.
But then he perked right up again and gave an interview to a news crew. He
Oh.
told them that he was the last to leave.
The captain is usually the last to abandon ship. What
This
happened, Captain?
fucking liar, bro.
We were the last to leave the ship.
Bold-faced
All they
fucking
said
lie,
was
bro. There's
rescuers
evidence.
on the ship. On Sunday morning, a South Korean couple is found in their cabin, safe but shivering. They had slept through the crash and woke up unable to exit their cabin.
Oh my
The
god.
last survivor, Manrico Giampandroni, was found with a broken leg. He was the cabin's service director. In the end,
32 people died?
people died. The final body wasn't discovered until nearly 3 years later. A crew member, Russell Rebello, and it's believed that he died a hero helping passengers off the ship.
Oh.
The Costa Concordia was the largest cruise ship disaster since the Titanic. And then there's the ship. This is what happens to a 110,000-ton cruise liner when it's left half rolled over in the ocean.
I don't know. I think we can fix it. Put the captain back on and we can fix it. One more run. One more run. But he's the only one on board. Have that boat go for one more ride, but the captain's the only one on board. It's gonna get worse? Dog, I'm already crying.
But this isn't the end. It's just the halfway point. What most people know is that the Costa Concordia had crashed, many dead, and that the captain abandoned ship like a coward.
Uh-huh.
But there's a whole veritable spaghetti of
spaghetti.
details to untangle. Let's dive in.
Oh. Don't stop touching.
they
Stop.
are.
Please stop touching. Please stop.
The
Please.
deets.
Please stop. Ugh. Ew. Oh. Oh. Looting? Fortnite.
Loot box time. The Costa Concordia was more than just a floating resort. There's a mall, a casino, cha-ching, cha-ching. This iron chest was full of safes and cash registers and expensive fittings. And there were plenty of gamers prepared to sneak by authorities and try their luck in the hot zone.
Oh my god, they're dropping in, bro.
Within days, police divers reported that valuable items, once seen lying around the ship, were now missing.
Yes!
High-end liquor, expensive furniture, dining sets, cash from the casino, cash registers, jewelry.
You know,
and
I'd take
display
the cash
cabinets,
too.
Safes, Japanese woodblock prints by famous 18th century artists,
Hokusai.
as well as the iconic bell, which hung from the bridge of the ship.
Take
It was
that
never
bitch.
found. Who steals a big fuck off bell? Even
Me.
the server admins were getting involved. 4 divers who were part of the company contracted to refloat the Concordia were spotted on CCTV, sneaking out to the ship. A patrol boat was dispatched, and the men were caught inside the fancy suites with rucksacks full of stolen goods. The 4 men are charged with stealing and thieving
No.
and pinching. Later on, stolen as well as legitimate items found their way to Amazon and eBay. Chips from the casino, postcards, and cabin access cards became highly sought after souvenirs.
It even has a watermark.
Some Australian guy even made a listing for the ship itself, advertising it as buyer to collect.
Buyer to
And although
collect.
there were plenty of bidders, eBay pulled the plug.
Oh man.
I know you want to see Scatino go to jail, and we'll get to that. But first, we have to talk
He's
about
edging me.
someone else. Dominica Samorton.
That was a close one.
Hey.
There was speculation that she was on the bridge that evening because she was the captain's mistress.
Tense media speculation reports that her presence distracted the captain.
They both denied their love for years and maintained that they were just friends. Although she did later admit to the media that she found him handsome.
Oh.
And how could you not?
You so fucking precious when you
Ew.
smile.
She says there was no romantic link between them.
I do not find him a hunk, no.
They want to know I have something with him. It's more interesting. It's like, you know, some spicy in the story.
Miss Samorton also
Yikes.
loved the spotlight, however.
Everyone, oh look!
And took several interviews.
Oh my god.
But as the pressure mounted upon her, she began making ominous threats to Scatino, saying he must confess, and that you have but 1 week to come clean. But things from here get weird.
Spicy.
Samorton is a bit of a wild card. In a subsequent interview, she claimed a helicopter came to the ship well before the other rescue craft to take away a package.
Huh?
And what was that package? Drugs, apparently.
Drugs!
So rumors began that the ship was running narcotics for the mafia. And not without cause. A number of cruise ships, even recently, have been caught trafficking drugs. As an aside, Scatino
You know what?
was tested for drugs
Hey.
immediately after the crash. He tested negative for drugs in his system,
Hey,
but
listen.
trace amounts of
Hey, listen. If I ran a cruise ship and I could make a few extra thousands by running some cocaine, I'm just saying it feels like it's easy. Single guys, are you listening? All I need is a $573 million ship and you can be a player.
cocaine were found in a hair sample.
Makes it smoother and less
Oh.
dry.
Nonetheless, the Concordia was searched and no drugs were reportedly ever found. How did we get here? Oh, right, a helicopter.
Oh my god, the
Samorton
woman that
commented
got...
on it again the next day and said, actually, that helicopter was just for the captain as a means of evacuation.
They didn't even evacuate via helicopter. The captain also wouldn't be the first person off the ship. Imagine if Scatino just flew away in a helicopter before any of the rescue crews even expected. Did she expect to start first-class rescue service? This confusion is caused by low IQ. I'm not saying I would be a drug smuggler. I'm just saying I would not be a drug... Exactly.
From the ship. Okay, wait. So she expected to get some sort of first-class rescue while everyone else was still stuck on the ship?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, how did we get here? Oh, right, sex with the captain. Divers were quick to head to the captain's cabin where they found Miss Samorton's lingerie and other articles of clothing as well as a makeup bag.
Oh my god.
The jig.
The
was
Jeffree
up,
Star bag!
But they continued denying it. Samorton mostly faded from international attention until she was told to appear before the court to present witness testimony. The judge pressed her to be truthful about their relationship, or she would be held in contempt.
Either tell me the truth or shut up.
So finally, she admitted it.
Yes, I had a sentimental relationship with
Oh my god, the
captain.
finger motion.
But now, stop asking about my private life.
She was indeed the captain's lover.
What is up, Trouble Alert Nation?
There's no way.
No, cheated on his wife with C. Mortan. Oh my god!
She and Scatino had been having an affair for several weeks. She also said that on the night she boarded, she didn't have a ticket.
Ticket, please.
And didn't need to pay because nobody questions you when you're the captain's lover. Naturally, she gave another confusing interview after leaving court.
I want to say that today is the second time I die, because the first time I died in the night of the crash with my psychological brain and problems. And today I died the second time because, of course, people find out something that I try to hide.
Subsequent to the trial, she used her fame in Moldova to become a political activist, often appearing on television and radio and in articles covering protests, accompanied by pictures of her being arrested by police.
That's crazy. She's complaining there are not enough bins in the area, but she's telling calm down, point out there are bins right there. Jesus Christ. Subtle Moldova's lender, literally. What is going on in Moldova, bro?
It was some stuff about victims of violence, women's rights,
Girl power.
yada yada yada, and interestingly, part of a push to block the sale of shares of Moldova's train network to Russia.
Sure.
Other than that, I don't really know what she's been up to. Let me just check on her Inst. Oh God! Not
No!
again.
No, get away! She just loves
Several
people who
civil
pilot
suits were
things.
quickly lodged against Costa, and their parent company, Carnival Cruises, immediately saw a share drop of 23%.
Ooh. That's a significant amount, bro.
Passengers sought compensation for their damaged mental health, lost belongings, and loved ones.
Yeah.
Either they allowed him to divert from his course, or they didn't know where their billion-dollar ship was.
Within a few days, facing financial and media pressure, the CEO attempted to join the bandwagon against the captain and the crew.
That was not the ordinary route that the ship was taking at the time, and was not only taking, but the time the ship was
Claiming that the ship was
Hey,
not
English isn't his
approved
first language,
to
be nice.
deviate from the route, but that wasn't true. Approval isn't required if the ship is deviating by less than 15 miles, or that it was against company rules. Also untrue, because investigators found that they didn't have any rules about deviating route, and they tacitly encouraged sail-by salutes. Now, in response to the civil suits, Costa Crociere offered passengers 11,000 euros each as compensation.
That's not enough. That's not enough.
That's kind of small.
11,000 euros, about $14,000,
It's not enough.
is the minimum compensation under international law when a ship is abandoned.
This was to reimburse them for
The
their tickets, as well as
minimum.
any costs they accrued in having to unexpectedly travel home early.
And that was supposed to release them from everything and anything that has to do with this accident. I cannot ask for more than this.
A lot of passengers, understandably, were not too happy with this deal, and they refused to take the money.
We think the offer is an insult.
It is!
For what these poor passengers went through, we think that the compensation being offered is not commensurate.
Here, take it.
Compensation being offered is not commensurate.
Later, Costa Crociere would lodge a plea deal with the Tuscany court to pay a €1 million fine to avoid a criminal trial. The judge agrees.
Oh!
Costa Crociere is now off the hook for all criminal liability for the whole thing. They've washed their hands of the incident and flecked the residual droplets of responsibility onto the faces of 6 staff members. Passengers and relatives of the dead are livid that the company has been able to avoid criminal responsibility.
Offered is not commensurate.
Civil suits against the company continue. By the way, the residents of the island of Giglio also banded together and sought
Port was blocked to fishing boats. Oh my god. They didn't get shit. That's right. This is in their fucking water and they're
damages.
fucked.
They didn't get much. Eventually, passengers who refused the initial compensation of 11,000 joined civil parties against Scatino in his trial in 2015.
Is not commensurate.
They were awarded 30,000 euros each. Other cases,
Yes,
especially those
bitch!
involving lost relatives, are settled for undisclosed amounts.
Yeah, that's about what happened.
New York
Scams!
attorney Peter Renee travelled to Budapest to represent 6 real survivors of the disaster.
At Ronay, we personally work on every case.
And we'll work harder than anyone to get you the most money possible in the shortest amount of time.
And while on the job, a 7th case cropped up via email. An elderly woman, Alona, said,
"Help me, Mr. Ronai, for I have lost my daughter, Eva, and my 5-year-old granddaughter, Roxana."
So Mr. Renai agreed to speak with her. However, there were some inconsistencies in her story. Neither Eva nor Roxana were on the passenger list. Odd, but Costa is known for having stowaways.
Gotcha, bitch.
Still, Mr. Renai was suspicious. They wouldn't cheaty old Petey, would they?
Surely not.
Renai inquired further about why she was on board, especially without a ticket. Ilona said,
"Well, I don't know, but you should ask her boyfriend.
Zolt Horvath.
He'll know all the details."
I'm up all night. I'm going crazy, he said. But Mr. Renai was still suspicious. Because then she asked, how much money do you think this is worth?
0.
This is a huge red flag, Petey. In 20 years of doing this, you've never had anyone ask about money. Why now? So Mr. Renai hired an investigator and sent photos around of the missing girl. The next day, the phone rang. Ahoy hoy, it was the boyfriend again. Look, there's been a bit of a misunderstanding and the child isn't missing at all. And then he claimed he was confused because he had done too many drugs the night before.
Oh.
Okay, can I speak to the daughter then? At first, he was refused. So Renai said that he'd have to file a missing persons report to the police if he couldn't. The boyfriend relented. That night, Renai met with Zolt and brought the police with him. He speaks to the granddaughter and asks her if she's
Why is the
seen
house
Mum.
fucked up?
Yeah, I saw her today. Oh, really? Yeah, we went to the park today and we went on the swings. Oh
Yay!
no, the jig was up.
The
So the mum
swings.
walks into the room sheepishly. It's a miracle. And the story changed again. Okay, I'm not dead, but I did injure my leg when I jumped from the ship. And then I immediately flew back to Budapest. Although don't worry about checking my leg because there are no visible marks or injuries.
Okay.
Oh, Petey, I'm beginning to think they weren't even on the boat.
They weren't on the boat, bro.
Also, it turns out this lady isn't her mum, it's just a neighbor. Eventually, Renee managed to make the pair confess. And then they said, hey, we haven't done anything wrong. We haven't taken any money. And in the end, it looks like there'll be no criminal punishment for the scam, because Hungary, a former communist country, has no laws against insurance fraud on the books.
Oh my god.
That never sleeps, call 1-800-664-7.
Bro, what do you even do? There's no laws for insurance fraud. Oh my god, is he okay? Is he okay?
Mario, would you teach me some Italian?
Oh!
Of course.
Get back on board, for fuck's sake.
Okay.
Vada a bordo, caso!
Gregorio De Falco, the naval officer who shouted at Scatino to Vada a bordo caso,
Vada a bordo,
became
caso!
a national hero overnight in Italy. He, like the rest of the world, expected Scatino to go down with the ship.
Bro, not the nose piercings.
And when the captain chickened out, De Falco was there to admonish him. And when he stopped answering the radio, he called him on his cell phone to continue putting him on blast. When the captain first reported putting him on blast.
I will really hurt you. I'll cause you a boatload of trouble. You a proper mercy who's still making puns. Me! I love this guy now. This guy's a fucking hunk. This guy's a fucking hunk. Let me know. Can I suck him off just once?
When the captain first reported just a blackout, De Falco didn't believe the story and immediately began preparing a rescue effort, which
He needs a
saved
reward.
several lives. His actions were
He needs a
applauded by
reward.
Italians who were tired of their public servants being corrupt and avoiding responsibility. Accordingly, shirts sporting
Vada
the
a bordo
Caso
caso.
would be
I want
printed by
one.
the end of the week.
I need a
Others
shirt.
setting it as their phone's ringtone. But then, in September 2014,
I
without
need a
warning,
shirt.
De Falco was transferred to an admin role in the Coast Guard.
Okay, Nails.
What I said, you've been demoted.
De Falco said that he had been passed up for promotion, that he had also not been told which admin office he was even being transferred to, and that it all effectively cancelled 10 years of his career. De Falco was tres furioso, and there was public speculation that it was owing to bad blood between himself and Admiral Delano, his
What the
former
fuck?
boss. His status among the public overshadowed his superior in many ways. On the other hand, his boss said, no, it's part of a normal career progression for naval officers and that he must show more maturity and professionalism to advance his career. Now, it's hard to know what's true in office politics, so let's leave that alone. And anyway, in 2018, DeFalco said buenas noches, ya later, to the Italian Navy to become a politician. In March that year, he was elected to the Italian Senate, serving as a member for Livorno. He still serves there today.
I'm the captain now.
Hell yeah. Vada bordo caso. It's so catchy. Oh. Jail!
The day
Jail!
after the disaster, Schettino was taken into custody
Fuck
by
you.
police and underwent questioning. However, it was clear that this would not be a straightforward investigation. So the judge released him under house arrest at his home in Sorrento, a town in Napoli.
It's a
By
nice
July
town.
of that year, the house arrest was relaxed and he was allowed within this general area.
Big area.
While under house arrest, he wrote a book.
Oh.
With this journalist from Rai magazine. I have no idea what it says, I don't speak Italian. But goddammit, he must have some kind of charisma going on, because there's been a lot of speculation in the press that he had an affair with her as well.
Bro, he's not even that hot!
Okay. Not content with abandoning his ship, this dude is determined to abandon his wife as well. So,
Dog.
Schettino and 5 others are facing criminal charges. Straight away, everyone lodges a plea bargain with the court. And all of those plea bargains are accepted.
Stop!
Except for Schettino's. And the condition of everyone's reduced sentences are that they must provide witness testimony against Schettino.
He touched me.
Huh?
Ciro, Jacob, and Silvia were all given suspended sentences. Roberto and Manrico are
Okay. You know what? There's a lot going on here.
able to opt for community service or house arrest. Not a bad deal.
A good deal. Good deal.
And that meant that Schettino was now all on his own.
Yeah, he's
Ciro,
fucked.
the first officer, was the first to give his testimony. On the witness stand, he claimed that Schettino was distracted by his mistress and other guests on the bridge.
Oh my god!
That there was confusion over who was in command. Then it was Jacob's turn. And he said, Lamau XD, because he didn't actually bother with his testimony or his reduced sentence. He just fled the country. It took authorities 12 months to eventually track him down on the outskirts of Jakarta. And when they said, oi, we still want that witness testimony, he just scalped again. And he hasn't been found since.
Bro, he's gone!
After that, Ferrarini gave his testimony, then look, we don't have time to relitigate the whole trial, so let's just go straight to the verdict. Guilty! Schettino was found guilty of multiple manslaughter, causing a shipwreck, abandoning ship, and lying to authorities. He is sentenced to 16 years and 1 month in
Yes!
prison.
Yes!
But wait, there's still the appeals.
Oh.
The appeals trial begins. And the verdict on the appeal? Surprise! Rejected!
Yay!
So Schettino's lawyers appealed again. And the verdict on the final appeal?
Schettino made multiple attempts to secure a plea deal, but was denied by the prosecution each time. The prosecution called for Schettino to be sentenced to 26 years in prison, calling the incident a Titanic affair.
Oh, okay, I see what you did there.
Schettino was not present. His lawyers stated that he was waiting outside of the jail for the ruling, so that if his plea was rejected, he could immediately start serving his sentence. And with that, 5 years and 4 months after the disaster, he was finally in a cell.
Yay!
Said I will not be making any comment. Oh, that hurt.
They saved so much money on that discount boat driver, literally. Oh my god, dog. Oh my
The
god.
salvage operation was enormous. It took over 2 years and cost an estimated $1.2 billion.
More than the ship was worth, by
Beginning
the way.
in early 2012, they first spent 2 months pumping fuel from the ship's tanks. At the same time, they had to pump seawater in so that the balance wasn't affected and the ship didn't slide around. In early 2013, a platform was built under the ship to prevent it from falling further. Sponsons were then attached to the sides of the ship, and cables attached to the underwater platform.
Jesus Christ.
The sponsons were then dragged underwater and opened up to allow the ocean to fill them. The ship could then roll over properly. By late 2013, the ship was upright once more.
Yay!
The sponsons were then attached to the side of the ship to help keep it balanced. It now rested partially above water, and crews could walk around safely. By July 2014, the water was removed from the sponsons, and compressed air was pumped in to lift the
This is
ship.
just 2 times speed, guys.
And she was ready to cruise again. This time to a port in Genoa. It was a 4-day towing journey to the docks where a 2-year process of dismantling and recycling would begin.
A lot to
That same
recycle.
weekend of the towing, Scatino was busy. He was the guest of honor at a white party on an island.
Imagine, right? You get on a cruise ship and someone goes, "Oh yes, these chairs are recycled from the Costa Concordia." I would throw myself overboard.
Island in the Bay of Naples. He appeared on the front page of a local newspaper, flanked by 2 of Italy's most eligible bachelorettes.
Yikes.
Anyway, so these are the things that I remember from the Costa Concordia. That sweet maiden of the sea. And as for you, little fella.
You stole the fucking bell, huh? Who would steal a bell, bro?
Well, it's time to return you. From whence you came. Six quick things. 1. NordVPN, good product, check it out. Number 2, there's a new video on the second channel. You probably didn't see it because it was temporarily restricted. Now it's not. Enjoy. 3, if you've never seen the second channel before, give it a go. It's a different type of content, but we put a lot of production into it. It's not just offcuts. 4, there are a couple secret channels as well, but I ain't telling you where they are. 5, no more 45-minute videos on the main channel. Back to 10 to 15 minutes and more of them. 6, there's a Q&A coming out next week on incognito mode. It's got a ton of detail.
I don't want
to
to see the spaghetti scene again.
Of brevity, and will no doubt feature a ton of corrections as well. That's it. Thank you.
Spicy.
Spicy. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, boy. It will show up for 2 million someday. Think I can buy it? I don't want it. I won't have $2 million. Nor will I want to buy that bell. It would be cursed. I think my house would like start rolling over and floating away if I had that bell. I don't know why I'm jiggling myself around so much.